Welcome everyone. My name is Richard Evans. I'm from AME, Association for Manufacturing Excellence, and I'm going to facilitate today's session. We've got our 2-second lean leaders roundtable, and unfortunately today we're not going to have Paul unless he can dial in. He doesn't have any Wi-Fi where he is in Europe at the moment, and he does apologize to everybody for not being here. But we've got a fantastic lineup today of leaders that are going to help you out with your questions. I'm going to start off with our resident leaders. Bernard, it was your idea. Bernard Powell is all the way from New Zealand. We've got Alex Ramirez from the States, resident leaders, and then our special guests today. From my home country, Canada, we've got Alan Hewitt out in BC. I've got Matt from Australia, Matt Loveday from Australia, and Hugh from the States as well. So you all know Hillbilly Millionaire. He's great, and he hasn't shaved his mustache off yet, by the way. So if anybody who hasn't been here before, we're going to do a rapid fire round table. We've got some questions that people have submitted ahead of time, and we're going to ask the team to answer the questions. So without ado, I'm going to actually share my screen, and we're going to get into the very first question. So this is from Dustin in Texas. Okay, we've been doing lean now for over 10 years with a lot of success and eager to continue our journey. We are considering hiring a full-time CI person to our staff. We still see lots of opportunities for improvement and can see upside to having someone dedicated to this full-time to help our entire team. I've seen this position in some of the organizations we've toured, like Seating Matters and Yellow Tool. Thoughts from the panel? Okay, let's start off with Bernard. Bernard, you go first.
That's an awesome question. My thoughts would be absolutely if you can afford to do that, if it's making financial sense. The key thing is just not to make sure that your team, the rest of the team, doesn't suddenly drop off the improvement journey. But I'm sure if you've built a culture for 10 years, that's not going to happen. So making sure you're very clear on what this new role is, the role, what it's called, and the responsibilities and who they're reporting to, and just making sure it fits well within your organization structure. But I'd absolutely recommend it. We have an engineer in each department who, most of their life is continuous improvement, and they support others with their improvement projects and things like that. So there's some thoughts.
Okay, perfect, Bernard. Thank you. Alex.
Well, I've been to both companies. I'm not sure what is the role of that person, but I certainly need to learn from both of them. I have a different perspective. I think when you have one guy dedicated to organize or do the continuous improvement, everybody tends to say that guy is the one that's going to improve for us. So I would say no. I would say that I would definitely have everyone involved, and not, you could delegate to certain people and leaders of the certain areas, but not one person. Maybe a coordinator for some projects, but it's very different than to say this is the CI, continuous improvement manager or leader of the company. I would try to get away from that, but I never had it, let's say, and it worked for me.
Okay, Alex, thank you. Hugh, what's your take on this one?
Yeah. My first gut immediate reaction is absolutely not. That's a terrible idea. I know we have a lot of people that I know, and I'll tell you why. You have a Yellow Tools and Seating Matters, the people that are at the top of their industry, and effectively, my opinion is this position is for Kaizen events, being large continuous change. I think that can be appropriate. But you're going to see that in a very established. In all the companies that I visit and see and assist, usually, and people that are on this chat right now, there's a CI guy, and that guy is like ignored by the rest of the whole company. I think it's more important to focus on the culture of the company and tie people in. and then maybe bring that in, or I'd have it as a rotating position. I think Toyota does something similar where they're saying, okay, person from department A, they're going to be on a 3-month rotation assignment to just do CI. And maybe there's some cross training or something like that. That also gives you the opportunity to cross train somebody to backfill that position temporarily, just as if they're out sick. But generally, exactly what Alex has said, usually it's, well, I got to do my job. I don't want to, that's Bill's job. Bill's the continuous improvement guy. I'm not going to do it. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I think having everybody do it is bigger.
Yeah, well done, Hugh. Thank you. Thank you for that perspective. Alan, what do you think?
Yeah, for sure. Great question, Dustin. I'm 50-50 on this one. I've seen it in our organization where we have failed a lot by giving people the power to implement improvements because they simply don't have the skill sets to improve them. Something as simple as how to use a saw. In a company where there's high turnover, if that's the industry, I would suggest definitely trying to find, maybe call it the CI person or the expert guy or girl that knows how to get their hands dirty and come up with solutions. Our team has a lot of good ideas, but they don't have the skill set necessarily to execute on them. So that's where I see that person coming into play. That would be my 2 cents on it.
Okay, great. Thank you, Alan. And finally, Matt, what's your take on this one?
Yeah, I tend to agree with Hugh and Alan on this one. I think that you should build a team of people that can rotate through, develop their skills in a particular area. Like what Hugh said at Toyota, I think that is that one full-time person they got in the Gemba pipe building area. So maybe you've got to identify some of the areas where that particular process needs an extra person. It might be someone building fixtures or laser cutting for making parts. But yeah, try and build the skills of the team by rotating them in different areas. And I think everyone would appreciate, learning different things.
Yeah, it's a really good question. From my experience, I was that person for about 6 years, and we did some incredible changes. The problem is that when I left, unfortunately, a lot of it collapsed. So you've got to get, as Alex has said and Hugh has said and Matt said, you've got to get your culture right. You've got to get everyone involved in improvement. And then it becomes everyone's responsibility as part of their job to improve every single day. So hopefully, Dustin, you got some thoughts from that, and that can help you on your journey. Okay, next question, everyone. So this is from Putra from Toronto. Putra's asking a lot of questions, which is great. So how do you, as 2 second lean practitioners, navigate the balance between moving quickly to experiment, learn, fail, and improve, while ensuring that precision and quality are not compromised in the process? Can you share examples where you've successfully harmonized these 2 seemingly opposing approaches? Okay. Alan, let's start with you on this one.
All right. Yeah, that's an awesome question from Toronto. All right. So how I tackle this, and I'll give you an example. So we're in landscape construction. One really simple, funny improvement was having ramps throughout backyards. So wheelbarrows go on those ramps rather than on the grass, damaging it. So step 1 was simply get 2x4s or 2x6s. Step 2 was the improvement on the improvement. And now there's grip strips on them and they're made out of aluminum and they're light. So I would say experiment with doing something right away to see if it's sort of going to stick, and then make the improvement on the improvement. Because there's nothing more frustrating than seeing people wait for it to be perfect, and I don't want to implement it until A, B, and C are in row. But I'd say just go for it, and then know that you're going to make the improvement on the improvement.
Okay, perfect. Thanks, Alan. Okay, next, Alex. Go on this one.
Yeah, I think that's the smart way to do it is do small, do a test, do a trial, do a pilot. If it's just one machine, not 30, if it's one person, not 50, and then just try and error. And when you got it right, where you enoughly know that it's going to work, then deploy it, expand it.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Alex. Matt.
So, Toyota has one banner that hangs in the factory. It says good thinking, good products. And I learned my lesson early on. And what we've done internally is trained our staff to say, right, whenever there's a decision that needs to be made, we go through this process. So, quality thinking, quality products, quality wins. Because in the end, quality wins. So if it's going to affect, quality to the customer, for sure, it's something that needs to be looked at more closely. But yeah, that decision model has really helped for us.
Perfect. Okay, that's great. Hugh, what's your take?
I'm going to go right at some people who feel like they have lukewarm process or lukewarm progress. I'm sorry. A lot of the people that feel like they have lukewarm progress and they're not moving quick enough often don't actually have 3S every day. They'll have 3S like Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or Tuesday, Thursdays, and they'll split it up. So exactly what Alex said, and I really pushed on Paul hard on this one, and he basically said very similar. Let's do a lot of really small changes as often as we can. And as we continuously improve those changes, it gets better and better and better. Then there's also the hands, heads, hearts philosophy, and which also will help with Dustin's previous question, which is if everybody doesn't know what they don't know, so it's going to take a little bit of a while for them to learn it. So you don't say, okay, Kaizen event, move all the machines around, guys. It's more like, hey, let's put labels. Everybody put labels on for a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. Hey, let's do Kaizen foam. But again, the first part of your question, I think, is more important than the second part. Are they doing it with enough frequency to actually pick the skill set up? Which most companies that say I have glacial pace have made an excuse to not have 3S every day.
Yep, that's good response. Finally, Bernard, on this one, what do you think?
Yeah, love everyone's feedback. It's really helpful, and hopefully our listeners are getting value already. So I would say a bit of everything that everybody's saying, but for us, what works incredibly well, we've been on the journey since 2017 with 2-second lean, and you have to have the morning meeting, you have to have the 3S happening every single day, you have to have a minimum standard where everyone in the company, it's part of their job description that we need to see at least one improvement per day on the chat. So you have to keep the rope tight on basic things like that. Then teaching level 1, level 2, level 3 improvements. So level 1 is obviously the cheap and cheerful, easy improvements, labeling, hanging up a broom, lifting things off the ground, might be putting a desk on wheels, things like that. You've got to give people, you're soon going to see from that process who's pushing on to do more level 2 improvements, like, creating new SOPs, improving SOPs, or whatever you regard as a level 2 improvement. So you have to make sure it's a daily drumbeat, right? And I like what Hugh said is really helpful. We've just started shifting more and more to a certain focus. Like this week, our focus is just improving, old SOPs as a bare minimum. We're not stopping other people making other improvements, but making sure that's a real focus for the week ahead or the month ahead. So yeah, breaking it down to make a simple improvement focus for people. So I'm not sure if that helps, and the other thing too, you got to get this all in perspective. Like if you're talking about a whole production process, you don't want someone jumping in there who's just started with you trying to change the world, because that's impossible. They need to learn the ropes. There has to be a process, right? So you have to earn the right to do level 2 improvements, but from day one, you should be making level 1 improvements, the cheap and cheerful ones. Hopefully that helps.
Yeah, excellent. And for those of you listening, if you don't know what the level 1, 2, and 3 is, if you go to Ryan's website, Lean Made Simple, I think Ryan's got a little video on there that explains the levels of the improvement process, which is what Bernard's been talking about, is really interesting, and that'll get you going. Okay, perfect. Thank you. Okay, next one. Let's just have a look on the next one. This is from Dan. Okay. And I like this question. I'm a first-time continuous improvement manager. We're now about 10 months into our lean journey. We operate on 3 shifts. On our second and third shifts, the amount of supervision is minimal. Oh, been there, done that. With this, typically at start of shift, we see a lot of pushing blame onto other shifts, issue ranging from cleaning to setting of equipment to daily paperwork issues. What are some ways to drive CI across all 3 shifts? Okay, let's go with you first on this one.
We ran 3 shifts in China, and it was like pulling teeth initially till we figured it out. So what we started with, what we found most effective is for a period of time, we actually, and we gave people plenty of notice, but we rotated everybody through the day shift where everyone can get the most training, cross training. And then as far as managers, specifically whoever was in charge of the team lead, shift lead, whatever it may be, to actually have a warm handoff. So they've got to stay on for, a 30-minute period to see the other person and make sure that there's, they can have a process around the handoff, not just not doing it. And then again, we also had our senior or executive level managers. They would have to go rotate onto the evening shift as well to ensure continuity. And so once everyone kind of knew each other, there's probably like a 3 to 6 month period, and then it all kind of fixed itself. But
Yeah,
that'd be my
good way of doing it. Excellent. Thank you, Hugh. Matt, how about this one for you?
So we try to avoid having more than one shift. But if it was me, I'd probably look at the leadership on those shifts. Sort of like Hugh said, try and get that culture going in those shifts. You need a leader. And it may be worth putting on the extra supervision just to get the benefits of that integrated culture between the shifts. That would be my initial thoughts.
Okay, thank you so much, Matt. Bernard.
Yeah, great question. We've done a mix of both over the years, and having that shift handover is so critical that the team leader is happy that the previous team has ticked off their checklist, or better still, we have an operations group chat. It's called a reporting group chat, and this has been really powerful for us, and we've helped a lot of businesses. It's worked for them too. Is you do your clean down, you put your clean down on the chat. So at the end of the day, you're assigning total ownership to different areas, and whoever owns that area has to shoot a quick video showing the standard that they've left that area in. That's really, really powerful because everybody's seeing that, and as a leader, you can be a million miles away and you can chip in and say, "Hey, I saw something out of place, or there's some tools missing. Why haven't you, what's going on?" So it's all about keeping the rope super tight. Otherwise, you are going to end up with a lot of blame games going on. The other thing too is to obviously teach people that where the whole point of lean is we're shifting away from a blame culture and into a culture of responsibility, ownership, accountability, and responsibility. That's what lean is all about. Everyone is an owner, and your next shift is your customer, right? So you've got to hand over no defects to your next customer. Does that make sense?
That makes sense. That was going to be my comment, and you just twirled the words out my mouth.
You're the pro,
blame
Richard.
environment. It's a no blame environment, and it's the accountability and responsibility.
Yep.
Alex, what's your take on this?
A super great question. Everybody in the team wants to be valued. They want to be recognized, and this is why people do improvements, because there's a feeling of improvement, of success, of acknowledgement from their teammates and their management that they're doing good, that they're progressing. The problem with the second and third shift, which is worse, is there's no other team but themselves, which they're like a ghost. So they're basically someone that no one sees, but they produce, and they do. If they do improvements, no one recognizes them. So if you have a routine to do a before and after video in order to recognize and celebrate, integrate those. And the second I would say is focus a lot on the leader. So whoever is the night shift supervisor or lead man, whatever is the leadership in place, dedicate time for them, train them, do Gemba walk with them, because they're going to develop the people at every shift. And that is the key. You cannot spend time with everyone. So the leader should spend time with that leadership of every shift, and it'll take care of itself.
That's so true. Thank you, Alex. And finally, Alan, what's your take?
All right. So we don't run necessarily shifts. Says we are landscape construction. So during the day we do something, but what I'm going to relate this to is when it's salting and plowing season. So at the end of a salting shift might be 3 a.m. and there's guys coming in at 7 a.m. to work again. So we did this with simply checklists. At the end of night checklist, you better leave it better than you came. We also have that idea of 5 dysfunctions of a team being conflict, being able to have that that conversation about, hey man, we're partners in this, we're brothers in this. Why did you leave this so bad for me? Now I need to go to work at 7 a.m. Definitely helped out. And then we have what Bernard said, which is WhatsApp video. When we're on site at the end of the day, every manager or foreman's taking a video of what was accomplished so that the entire team knows what's going on the next day. So those would be my my 3 takes on that.
Excellent, excellent. And just one final comment, Dan. If you've got the regular day shift, which we assume you're going to have the most supervision on, that's the shift that's got to set the standard. And the standard has got to be so high that the second and third shifts are going to follow it. And that's what you leave it. Leave it better than you found it. And at the end of shift 1 on the day shift, if they leave it really good and they've done everything they're supposed to do, then that's a great start for shift 2 to get into theirs as well.
I had
nice.
one more comment around that. No one said it, and I had thought about it afterwards. I know Alex does this on occasion. All of us probably just intended to do it. If you're not also doing it, like, I would dedicate some time where you are doing the second shift and you are doing the third shift. If you have really awesome managers, maybe that is a cycle too, or you can do like a split half shift where there's, again, it's the overlap. A lot of people don't know each other, even know the names. And so, yeah, make sure you're also on occasion.
That'd be incredible. Imagine seeing Alex Ramirez on shift 3 for 2 or 3 days.
It blows people's minds.
Incredible. Incredible. Okay, let's
absolutely.
next one. This is from Edwin in Australia. What's been something that surprised you about yourself on your 2-second lean journey? What's the before and after look like? Alan, let's
That's a
do
great
you first
question.
on this one.
What's something that surprised me about my 2-second lean journey? Definitely that I remember as a kid, and I know some people say, oh, lean's about being OCD, and that's garbage. But I remember as a kid always wanting things put back a certain way. And then meeting Paul, I met Paul actually at his house to do landscaping there. That's how this all started. And Paul sort of showing me through his book and his mentoring that, like, there is a system for this, and Japan's been doing it forever, and you're not unique in wanting to do it a certain way. So that was definitely a big surprise, and it really, like, gave me that comfort that there's the whole backup of education and information to make this all work the way it should work. That what I was trying to do already existed at a way better way. I just had to find it.
Excellent, excellent. Thank you, Alan. Okay, Bernard, what do you think?
Oh, it's a great question. A couple of things. One would be the before and after would be my personal growth and learning. So exceptional growth in terms of, like, it forces you to get better at leadership and better at home. And, like, anyone who's on group chats with me knows that I'm pretty crazy with my home improvements. There's sort of anywhere between 5 and 10 a day. So that really forced me to be accountable to others, getting on these group chats, and it's just transformed my home life, transformed my health, transformed my accountability to others. It transformed my accountability to my team, leadership skills, and the team, just watching them grow and learn and get better and have fun at work. And we already had a reasonable culture, but it's taken it to a whole new level where people are, the owners, they're engaged, they're empowered. Everyone's participating on the chat every day. We're making between 100 to 200 improvements a week. Like, that's the real juice, right? I don't care if I make $1 million this year or $20 million. If I can help people push through their own glass ceilings and grow and achieve their biggest life goals, that's my biggest buzz getting out of bed every morning. It's just unbelievable.
Perfect. I got a big smile on my face listening to you. Okay,
It's so fun, right? It's contagious.
what you got for Edwin, your fellow Australian?
Yeah, it's a good question. So, for me, the biggest thing is, once you, as a leader, learn how to train and empower your people, the problems that they will be able to solve is just mind blowing. Once you hand over that problem solving ability to them, it's going to surprise you. So, yeah, probably the biggest thing that was holding me back is myself. And then once you let go and let your people show what's possible, yeah, that because lean's all about people, right?
It is, absolutely. Alex.
Edwin, like 20 years ago, I was in Japan, and I went with another outfit, which was not Paul, just to be clear. And I went over there, and at the end of the week, visiting so many different companies, I took my boss with me. I remember I was very excited to see the lean part in Japan, and we both looked at each other and we said, "This is not possible in our culture. This is not possible in our plant in Mexico, in the U.S., and Germany. They're gonna think we're nuts." And so I stayed like that for 20 years until 2 Second Lean. Really, what surprised me is that it's not about culture. The human being wants to do improvements everywhere. It's just the key of how to get them all engaged. That was for me the biggest surprise.
Excellent. Well
Nice.
done. And last but not least, Hugh.
I think this is a big one is just, a lot of people get gung ho, they'll learn, but then they meet resistance at work and then they'll have a lukewarm adoption. And I think the biggest thing is when I think all of us had it, but it's so ingrained now, we don't even realize the way we were before, is when we stopped making an excuse and started leading from the front, right? Everybody can have an excuse. Oh, whatever, I'm in China and there's no internet and, whatever, everybody's watching and we can't communicate. There's no group chats. And that's just an excuse. And once you stop doing that and you start making it happen, we kind of very quickly rise to that. Hey, I'm going to be at that, the best guy at it where we're leading from the front, but then to take that next step of leading other people. And then it's like, okay, it's really not about the improvements at all. It's about training and developing the people. I'm going to become, that's when that lack of excuse needs to come in. That's probably the biggest difference from the transition, those who may have made it versus not. That's like transport. It's so ingrained to all the people that are at the round table and, that we don't even think about anymore, but that's probably it is when you're like, okay, I did the thing, but then it's that next step of, no, we're going to make this happen, period. Do I have the spine to make it happen?
Yeah. It's a really interesting question. I mean, I look at myself and the before and after. I've been a lean coach for over 30 years. And for the first 25 years, it was all about the Kaizen, the tools, the improvements. For the last 5 years, it's all about the leadership and the people. And that's the before and after for me. That from now on, I look and encourage people that you've got to lead them. You've got to lead by example. You have to let them be what they're like and do their thing and encourage them at every step of the way. And that's a great question, Edwin. Thank you. Okay, next one. This is from Glenn Sherman. Okay, I'm starting 2 Second Lean with a new team of 12 people. 2 to 3 want to bypass 2 Second Lean to go on to bigger lean events. They believe 2SL is a byproduct of traditional lean. How do you handle these disruptors? Okay, Alex, you go first on this one.
Boy, I've had plenty of that. And so I would really just take each one separately and talk to them, be open with them, because it's a very open question. We don't know what's happening with each one. They all have baggage. We all have baggage, right? And we've seen all the flavors of the month. People that I work for 40 years, they have seen management through management through management. They all bring their different sauce and here they go. And so they might just be thinking it's the flavor of the month. So give them time. But I would really talk to them personally and understand what is the issue they have with 2 Second Lean. What is the part they don't like? Why do they want to bypass it? Right?
Yeah.
And maybe what they're doing or the improvements they're doing, they're not doing any value for them. So they need to find ways how they can improve their area, their life, their everyday task in order to get engaged. And as simple as many will not do the restroom and the lunchroom. So right there, start from right there. If everybody benefits from a nice place to work, right? And so if they're in a shithole, what is the respect or the engagement of this program if I can't even eat correctly or go to the restroom in a nice clean place? It starts right there. So talk to them, see what they have going in their mind, and try to solve it with them, shoulder to shoulder.
Well done, Alex. Well done. Hugh, what's your take on this one?
Ooh, this is an interesting one. I like the question because it's a little bit different than we would normally get. It doesn't sound like they want to be. It sounds like they're upper to middle management or office people because, and then they're wanting to be even more important, which is, it could be a great thing, could be an ambitious thing. Like, I want to do things. I don't see like the level 1 improvements. I don't see labeling as important. Let's do the stuff that makes the money. I think they don't understand the why. I don't think the why has been articulated properly, for 2 reasons. One, if you're not doing the bathroom, you're lacking, or the break rooms, you're not lacking the respect. Make sure whoever those people are leading from the front, and then maybe they'll have the opportunity to do the big stuff. But I think they don't understand the why is, and this goes all the way back to Dustin's very first question. Everyone needs to be making the improvements so they can build that skill set. So when you do get to the level 2 and 3 improvements and you're connecting work interdepartments, it makes sense for everybody, because right. If no one has any skills, 10 eyes and 10 pairs of hands doing stuff can be chaos. But if everyone's a very high critical thinker, well, the way you get everybody to do that is to do 2-second lean. It builds that skill set. The point of it isn't the label. The point is to build the critical thinking skill set.
Yeah,
so I think I don't understand the why.
Perfect. Excellent. Bernard.
Yeah, great question. Yeah, I agree with Hugh and Alex, and we just need to get them aside, understand them, what their problem is. For us, it's all in our hiring process. So you're expected right from the start, but I don't know. I don't quite understand. This one here might be a team of 12 that he's just been given, so he's inherited them. So then he has to work with them, right? So 1-to-1 is absolutely key. Let's go and have a cup of tea. Let's have a chat through this, and I want to understand why you're resisting this, or why, what don't you like about it, and then what can we do? Everybody has to be on board with this. It's a non-negotiable for our company. We've got to make this happen, or it's going to be a pretty uncomfortable or a very short journey here at ABC Group. So let's have a chat and work through it together, and then explaining that it starts in the bathroom, because that's respect for people, and it's lean is built on those 2 pillars: a deep respect for people and a deep respect for resources. And then your job too, I always tell people that your job is your main title is the CRO, right? You're the chief reminding officer. So you're always reminding everybody why we do what we do and how we do what we do, and what this is such key stuff. And then the other thing I would say is that, hard as it is, it's either change the people or change the people. You can't forever put up with this stuff. So we'll give people, hundreds of chances, but at the end of the day, there's a line in the sand where we have to do this. But the other point that you guys spoke to is that, these could be guys that are really, or girls that are really experienced, and they want to make level 2 or level 3 improvements. So you don't want to hold them back on that either, but helping them understand that it starts with, we still have to take part in the daily routine, the 3S, the cleaning the bathrooms. They're not above that. No one's above that, because as soon as they are, they're not part of the team, and that's going to cause some serious culture disruption. Remember, only one spot of milk will cloud a whole bucket of water. So you've got to be really careful about these things. So there's a few thoughts.
Okay, well done, Bernard. Matt.
So most 2-second lean companies are doing 3S and improvement time at the beginning of the day for anywhere between 15 minutes to half an hour. So I would encourage these guys to do 3S, the smaller improvements at the beginning of the day, and then allocate a couple of sessions per week where they could spend 2 or 3 hours on these bigger Kaizen events, and even possibly rotate some of the other staff if a lot of people are new to lean. Put one of the guys with these people so they can learn and rotate that. So maybe try and facilitate both, because you don't want to kill the enthusiasm, on the other side of it. That would be my answer.
Excellent. Alan, what do you think?
All right, great question, Glenn. I'm going to take this as a coaching session. If I was to sit down with you, Glenn, first thing I'd want to do is probably get a DISC profile or some sort of indicator of who are these people and what are they all about. I want to understand where they're coming from and why, and I think DISC is a great way to do that. Next thing I'm going to do is always agree. I'm going to say, man, that is an awesome, awesome idea. You should be part of that bigger lean team, and I think in the future you can run it. For the first 6 months, though, I need to see you take care of these small tasks so that I know you're the person you say you are. And as soon as you show me those 6 months, then guess what? You're going to teach other people that, and we're going to make sure you're taking care of those big events that you're going to own, and it's going to be a great win-win for everybody. That's how I'd go at that question.
That's well done, Alan. I mean, my take on this with my experience, Glenn, I would go back to the disruptors and I would say, what percentage of companies that are doing traditional lean are actually successful at it? And the answer is going to be very small, right? The very small number of companies that are really good at traditional lean. If you think of 2-second lean companies and the ones that have implemented the methodology, you've got a huge higher percentage of success. And 2-second lean is your foundation. Your level 1 improvements is your foundation for going to level 2 and level 3, which is your bigger lean events. Kaizens, unfortunately, are great when you do them during the week. And then next Monday, everything goes back to normal and they get back to their all their stuff, and all the enthusiasm they've done during that week has dissipated. That's experience. So, just talk about the difference between traditional lean and 2-second lean, and that will guide them. I'm sure it will. Okay, next question.
And Richard, if I may, for Glenn, those 2-3 guys could be his best allies, because if he turns them around, everybody's just going to go like.
Absolutely.
And everybody in this table knows that 2 or 3 out of 12, that's a 20-30%. There's no way in hell there's 30% of people that are sabotaging the system. They want to do good. There's just some confusion going on there.
That's good.
Yeah, we've said all along, it's not easy. It's hard. It's hard, and then it becomes easier once you've got everybody on board. But getting everybody on board is the key. Okay, Phil from New Zealand, our friend Phil, how do you introduce the lean concepts to your clients or suppliers who could really benefit from 2-second lean without offending them or telling them what to do? Now, this is a question that Pablo has just asked, because he's asking the same thing, working with suppliers that are not aligned with lean culture. So think about that as well. And we'll go Bernard first on this one.
Yeah, that's an awesome one. We do it by sharing. We do 2 emails a week out to our whole database. One is Motivational Monday, and the other one is Business Success Thursday. And in both those emails, in the Motivational Monday one, we share just life tips and life quotes and stuff that'll help you have a better life. And then that might be around health and fitness or mindset or whatever, or goal setting. And then on the Thursday one, it's more targeted at our business clients, and it's sharing things about our culture and why it works and how it works and why we do it and the results of it. Obviously, and then culture tours are key. We do lots of those. So asking them in for a culture tour is amazing. But obviously that takes a lot of time. Another way is just shooting a quick video, grab a selfie stick, get around your business, talk to your staff. You can do a 5-minute, 10-minute video that explain, you say, what do you love about this our 2-second lean culture, and you'll get all sorts of answers. And you can just share stuff so quickly on video, and you put that on your YouTube channel, send that link to your clients and suppliers, and word it nicely so you're not being condescending. You're not coming from above, you're coming from below, and you're saying, hey, this is something we came across a few years ago. It works amazingly well for us. We love sharing it with everybody because it reduces drama, and everybody's goal, let's face it, everybody's goal, or should be everybody's goal, is to continually improve the life of their staff and their customer and run a business with no drama, right? Drama free. That's everybody's ultimate goal. 99% of businesses are just drowning in drama. So that's my thoughts.
Perfect, Bernie. That's great. Fantastic. Great answer. Matt, how about yourself on this one?
So it's a little bit different for each suppliers and customers. When we have customers come through and tour our factory, they often ask something like, "Oh, how do you do this?" Or they notice something different, and we try and make a point of explaining our Kanban system, because inventory is always a good physical thing that's a shared problem between companies. So we normally start there, and we also keep a stack of Paul's books in our conference room. And if they even remotely ask anything about it, we'll give them a book to keep. And just something like that. Suppliers, we can be a little bit more aggressive, especially where we're buying a lot of things off suppliers, and try and sit down and have. In the past, we've organized conference calls where we try and explain to them some principles that we'd like them to implement. Try and force them into different inventory thinking models that Lean sets out. So yeah, a little bit different for each one.
Perfect. Hugh, how about you?
This is a good one. I think you got to sneak attack them. Invite them over, like a lot of folks said. A lot of the people interacting with us, if you have like a real 2-second lean culture established, it's good, it's off the ground, it's weird. Other companies, when they show up, it's weird to them. So normally I'll try to get the owner over, and then they'll start asking, they can't not ask you questions. The fact that everyone's like legitimately happy and smiling, actually helpful,
Surprise.
like being at work. It's weird to the point where people are like, this is very odd. Sometimes we'll have people show up for a morning meeting. Like we'll just schedule a time that they show up so they kind of see it or it's finishing up and they're like, what was that about? And you can do that. And then I think it was Bernard was saying the suppliers. No, it was Matt. You were saying about the suppliers, right? The bigger you get. I try to follow the Toyota principle of working with very few suppliers, right? Work with a single supplier, not just based on quality. And then I've systematically and strategically tried to become a very large portion of their business. So then I can mandate things like, hey, use Signal, our group, use this group chat. We're going to send videos back and forth. As they're seeing how helpful our team is, then they often will start asking ideas and stuff. And so then they're doing that.
Perfect. So. Thanks, Hugh. Alan, your turn.
Yeah, for sure. So how do you introduce the lean concepts to your clients or suppliers? I don't push it on our clients or suppliers ever. I really like Paul's thought on that. 90% of us is waste, so fix us first. But like what Hugh said, when we have suppliers or clients that come through our office, they always ask, and then they see our yard, or even our competitors, they see our yard, they drive by all the time and they say, man, what's going on in here? They start asking those questions. Then I will definitely interact and start to show them the standardizations we've done and what we're all about. We open it up for everybody. Like when we hold, we call them lean leadership events. We open it up to our competitors. I'm okay with anybody and everybody coming because I know it's easy to do, but not a lot actually will do it.
Yep, that's
right.
So
we all can make coffee. We haven't started Starbucks.
That's a good answer, Alan. I love it. Okay,
like
Alex. Last but not least on this one.
Yeah, it's kind of the same thing is that customers, when we started doing it and getting results, customers started noticing, well, their less defects, they're delivering in less time and so forth. There's an example of JB from Minco, great human being, great leader. He came over, is like, we want to see what you guys are doing because you seem to deliver now even better than on time. No rejects, no defects, paperwork all good. What the heck's going on over there? And he came, and once we opened the door, give him a tour, he's like, Alex, I want that. So it's again, we go back to the same a pull system. You can introduce it all you want, but if they come and once they want to see your facility or what you're doing, the services you're giving, open the door and let them see. They'll get engaged.
Absolutely. So Phil, here's my take on it. This is a change to their way of life. So why don't you apply a change management model? ADKAR is a great one. A&D is awareness and desire. So why don't you put together a short introductory video of what 2-second lean means to you and your company and your people, and tell them what the benefits are, and just issue that out as part of, or put it on your website. This is who we are. This is what we do. Awareness, desire. And then once you've satisfied their desire, they might well then come and say, how do you do this? And that might help them. So use a change management model.
I have one tactical tip you can give, because we actually got a lot of people interested this way, is all of our suppliers, usually we'll meet like once a month or something, but especially if there's an issue, a problem, like there's, a lot of people will meet and they'll say, hey, how do we make sure this doesn't happen again? Right. We will probably, in this group, will probably be better at that. We'll say that at the end of that meeting, we'll then be like, hey, how can we be a better customer to you? Is there a system you want us to log into? Do you want us to include pictures? Can we include video? And again, that's very weird. So it's pool based. After a long period of time, you're going to get some of them asking, why are you guys like that? It's weird.
Yeah, I love that one, Hugh. That one's really good. That one's great. Okay, next one. We've got to get through a few more. This is from Putra. I love this one. What does your leader standard work look like? Bernard. Got
Your
your planner
leader
out?
standard work look like? Oh heavens. Okay. I probably can't. I might need some time on that one, Richard. Let's go. I'll pass.
Okay, Alex. Let's do Alex.
So I had my routines, obviously morning meetings. I had my Gemba walk, without a doubt, 2 or 3 times a day in different areas. And then there's the 3 levels of escalation of issues, which you have to monitor and go to. Is you have the morning meeting, obviously, creating good culture. Whatever the problems are they cannot solve, we had a second tier. So a handful of people that would manage the company. And that handful of people, that's where you try to solve whatever the main supervisor couldn't. And if not, to the third level every week, just a routine, a meeting, a 1 hour meeting to review indicators and bring the problems they couldn't solve. So that way you have a good escalation of problems and give them the chance to solve it. Then there's more dynamics inside each one, but that's basically, in a nutshell, what my standard was like. A lot on the
Excellent.
shop floor.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Hugh, leader standard work for you.
We have baseline. No one on our team will be a leader unless they are there to develop people. And so one of the things I just brought on a new COO, second in command, and biggest thing I was afraid of is he going to get the culture side? So culture number one. Then we have layer 2 on top of that. We have something called QBR. It's from a book by Mike Michalowicz called Clockwork, the Queen Bee Role. It's how do we make money as a company? We make money by doing this. In our case, it's filling vacancies. And if that's going wrong, then that's the next priority. Then the last bit is whatever their day job is. And then they have a management schedule where they do MINS, most important next steps. So the team will actually pull tasks. His job is to prioritize the tasks, or her job. And then the team will say, oh, by the end of the day, I'll have these 3 things done.
Yeah.
So it's first people, then the QBR, which is ignore the rest of the company if this thing's going wrong, right? And if those 2 things are met, then their day job, and they're prioritizing, they're coordinating. And I don't know, I think all of our leadership's jobs different every day, but it's different, but the same.
Great answer. Great answer. Alan, do you have leader standard work?
Yeah, I'm going to answer this 2 ways. One, on my leader standard work, as our leaders aren't in the shop all day. The goal is get out of the shop by 7:15 a.m. every day, because there's no value being created in our shop. So that's what our leaders are doing, is getting out of the shop by 7:15, and that's the goal. But for me, I'm a big Maxwell leadership guy. So like I have a growth plan. I know, get to bed by 9 o'clock, get up by 5 a.m. Good things are going to happen type of person. So
Nice.
that's my philosophy. A lot of support around how healthy am I. The healthier I am, the more I can bring to the team.
Okay, perfect, Alan. And Matt, final one.
Yeah, so for me, I'm always doing one of a few things, trying to serve our people. So always making sure that if there's something that needs to be worked on that's going to help progress a particular department, then I'll be working on that. Sometimes, not always, everyone could be making some of these higher level decisions. So get in there, find out what's bothering them, and actually work on, the 2-second lean for a leader, actually work on the team, working on processes, and then following up on things like issues that people have logged, defects that people have logged, and making sure that, everything's going to be able to run smoothly.
Yeah, perfect. Okay, Bernard, another way to put this is, what is your daily routine? What does your daily routine look like?
Yeah, that's more like it. That's awesome. Yeah, well, I'm absolutely obsessed with this. So I use my amazing life planner. You've probably seen it before.
Yeah.
You've got one, Richard. Anyway, this is So I plan a year out, then I plan a month out, then I plan a week out, then I plan a day out. And every day's got a different routine, which is all recorded. I use it on HabitShare. I use it in my front of my planner. So every day, so there's my standard meetings, and then there's obviously as much time on the Gemba, so there's time blocked out for that every day. So I use time blocking, and I use the ABC 1, 2, 3 method. So I know exactly what a successful day looks like for me, and also for my leadership team. And my job for my leadership team is to make sure that their team's KPIs are met for the day, e.g., their improvement time, their morning meeting, their growth and learning on our GPP, our Growing People platform. And so they're meeting their production numbers, etc. So I've got 7 leaders that report to me. My job is to support them to support their teams. Does that make sense? So yeah, it's anyone's welcome to see my routines. I love sharing this sort of stuff because I love helping people maximize their productivity.
How can they get a copy of your planner?
Yeah, I'll type it in the chat for you. Thanks,
Okay.
heaps, Richard. That's
All right,
it's a life changer.
All right. Standard routine for everybody. It's standardization, foundation for improvement.
Life changing.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, this is from Granger. Okay. I'm working with a business where 95% of the staff work from home using their computers all day. How would you do or introduce 3S every day in this business? Ooh, okay, Matt, off you go first on this one.
Okay, well, I would encourage the same principles of 2-second lean. Have a group chat. Start with 3S. Pull your top desk drawer out and take a photo. Is it messy? Is it 3S? Is it improved? Definitely use technology. Come together for your morning meeting. Using different software is going to be quite important in that particular. So have a really good project management system, good tracking, great communication. I think you could make it work really well. You just got to make sure that you've got everyone on board and everyone's able to focus, and probably got to spend some time with individual people. I know that kids can be a massive distraction, so you'd have to spend time making sure that everyone's got that sorted. So, yeah, I think you could make it work using the same principles. You just got to think outside the box and use technology.
Absolutely. So sweep, sort, standardize your computer files. How about you do that? That would help tremendously. Okay, Alan, go next on this one.
For sure. So we have this issue in a different sense that 100% of our staff work outside of our facility. So our facility is beautiful, and I always worry about, well, what's the job site like? And again, it's all those videos. You got to get the videos. You have to standardize the time the people are doing this at. You have to check in on them. And I would ask at the beginning, like, hey, well, what were the 4 small improvements you made today? Send them off. And with that picture in that WhatsApp group would be a great.
Perfect. Okay, Hugh, you go next.
Yeah, this is a tough one. I think Granger, I can't remember if he's a consultant or not, working with a new company. So we started life as a fully decentralized 2-second lean company. Very, very difficult. It is at best, through everything with the best people, 70% as good as terrible people in the office, like going to a place. One big thing would be, we use Zoom every day. We really utilize the group chats every day. But the biggest thing is, if you are a consultant, if the owner is not on board, it's not going to happen. Right. It's just, you have to lead. The leader must lead from the front. If it's your company, fantastic, then you can make that happen. That's the line in the sand. We will do this every day, or else you can find somewhere else to pay you to not do what they request. I think that's the biggest one. But to help specifically with the computers all day, I took what Ryan's 2 or 3 things at Seating Matters and wrote the 6 office wastes. You look at them very closely, they're just the 8 wastes. But the 6 office wastes are very computer oriented and very, very helpful. They'll often get that almost immediately far better than just the standard 8 wastes. It's tough. It's tough.
Yeah, and if you do work from the office, then go look at Hugh's 6 office wastes. They're really good. Very, very good. Okay, Alex, what's your take on this? Alex.
It's really the same thing as if you look at it as a shop. I mean, you have processes. So you have files, right? You have things in your computer. So I would say, like Alan, just ask them to do video or photo of before and after, showing their improvements, their 3Sing of their computer, how they improve 3S, the checklist that they give their customer. I remember we implemented 2SL on a sales team. So this is exactly the scenario where everybody is in a car, in an office, in corporate, in the plant. and they all have things to improve. If it's physically on their desk, if it's a little cable here or there, how they connect easier to go to a computer, to a server, to a printer. I mean, there's so many improvements. It's just a mindset that is so hard to detach, saying, I don't have a physical machine, I can't improve. You have a computer, you have a desk, you have a door, you have pencils, you have calculators, you have
A
everything
vehicle.
is improvable.
And you've got lots of inventory as
It's a
well.
vehicle. It's oh, and if you have a vehicle that you're portable, there's so many tools that they're so hard to get if they're not organized. It's fantastic. So
Yeah.
I would just try to break that myth that it's not possible. When you start asking the questions, there's a lot of waste in there. They can improve. They can 3S. Not a
great.
problem.
Absolutely.
But very important what Alan says is share it through the chat.
Share it through the chat. Okay. Last but not least, Bernard.
Yeah, same as all the guys. So make sure you got the group chat. Make sure everybody has to share at least one improvement. Make sure they 3S their desk space, and it should be getting better every day if they've got a little desk, like honestly, and then set a walkaway standard, put a photo of that on the wall, how that should look when you walk away. Make sure you got a morning meeting happening on Zoom or Teams so that you're all connected. Set up one of those, there's lots of them now, but virtual office space so everyone's connected all day long. So you've got that collaboration going on and you're actually connected. Even better if it's all connected on camera because then everyone's working together virtually. The vehicle, the office, there's so many things. And then the computer, obviously there's endless amounts of waste on everybody's computers. Right, one thing we're doing right now, we've just transitioned to a new CRM over the last 12 months, and we're just totally underutilizing it. So our next focus for the next month is to clean up that CRM. So every improvement we're seeing on the chat is people cleaning up CRM, making sure all the fields are filled in properly. So, if someone's doing 10 of those a day, before long, we've got our database of, I think it's 50,000 contacts now, is going to be cleaned up. So there's so much you can do every day, tiny little improvements to make the boat go faster. Simple stuff.
Absolutely. Okay, perfect. All right, everyone, it is 3 minutes to the hour. I think we're going to have to stop there for now. I just want to thank everybody around the table today, especially our invited guests, Alan from Canada, Matt from Australia, Hugh from the US, and our resident leaders, Alex from the US and Bernard from New Zealand. And a big thank you to everybody who was joining us today. We got some great questions, and we'll get to the next questions that we didn't get to today in the next one. It's incredible. So again, we're going to have probably another roundtable in a month. I've just got to get the date set for the team, and then we'll do that again. And if you watch the 2-second lean tours, our next one is going to come up in March, and then we have one in April and one in May and one in June. So keep in tune with us, and we'd like to thank everybody again and wish you all a great evening wherever you are, great afternoon. And again, to the team, thank you so much. Really,
thanks for having us.